Welcome to Lesson 13. How do students let me know that they need more help? Our final lesson before the summary of our topics is called How do students let me know that they need more help? Of course, when a student approaches you at your desk or stays behind in class for a private conversation, they're feeling safe enough to tell you, I don't know what I'm supposed to know. There's a lot of fear in telling someone that you don't understand what you're supposed to do, even if you've been told to do it, perhaps even in more than one way. We touched on this a little bit in our lesson showing self-advocacy skills, but students can still be intimidated in a group to tell others what they need, particularly if they feel that they'll be labeled as not so smart or slow. When I have a student that's brave enough to raise their hand and ask me a question, I often find there's a sense of relief among other learners in the room who simply weren't brave enough to raise their hand, but were able to get the answer that they needed as well because of that one risk taker. I want to talk with you about a way that you can make learning safe for everyone in a class so that they don't need to necessarily take a risk, and you can get a temperature on the comprehension of your whole class pretty quickly. I'm holding in my hand something called a response card, and you'll notice on one side it's green and on the other side it's red, and I did laminate these. Each student in my class is given a response card that they put on the corner of their desk. It stays there during the entire lesson and during any kind of guided practice or independent practice that follows the instruction. Initially, all the cards are face-up green on the corner of the desk or the table. As you provide instruction, what's happening with those response cards, you're walking around the room and you're noticing, if they're all green, it would appear that everyone comprehends the work. If you see one or more that are turned to the red side, it's a great time to stop what you're doing and restate what you've already done in a different way, or perhaps give 5 big takeaways for the lesson. The use of response cards is a great way to evaluate how effectively you're conveying the points of your lesson. You might need to add an illustration, a cartoon, a flow chart, a list of major points on the board after you've restated the important points of the lesson. Once students get comfortable using response cards, it's much less threatening for them to say, I don't know what you're talking about, without feeling as if they're really criticizing you. They're struggling with mastering the concepts that you're presenting. As students build confidence using their response cards, you'll be able to get many more specific questions about learner needs. You can also use index cards to effectively gauge the needs of your students by having them answer 2 questions on the card. Number 1, this is what I know. Number 2, this is what I'm not sure about. Students don't need to put their names on these cards unless they're feeling comfortable doing that. For students who give you their completed cards, you can offer them specific tutoring or a meeting privately. By then, you would have had time to read the cards and figure out where the students' questions or concerns are. You can also use this technique as a self-evaluation tool for your teaching. Remember that the only mistakes you ever make are the ones where you don't try again, when you weren't successful the first time. This includes the last official session of our series Modification Station. The last chapter of these lessons will be pretty much a summary of the entire Modification Station plan. I hope that these lessons have been helpful and they have given you some ideas to move forward in changing not only what you teach, but the way you teach it to put everyone on an even footing. Again, please use the QR code to send questions, comments, or request any information that I've given already in a previous presentation. Thank you, and let's get ready for our last session.